Hey, it's Dave from Chaos Guitars. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the violin bass, the Hofner violin bass. There's a lot of mix-up about this right here. So let's figure out what it does. Okay, the Hofner violin bass, or the Beetle bass. So this one came into the shop because the owner said, when both switches are down, I get nothing. I think there's something wrong. I think there's something going on. And it had some other issues too that we took care of. But this was the one that I thought we had to do a video for because this is kind of funny. This is the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't seem that way, and everything tells you it shouldn't be this way, but it is. And they've always been this way from the very beginning, as far as I know. So it's definitely, this is correct. There's nothing wrong with this circuit. I'm going to tell you how it works a little bit, and hopefully that'll clear it up. Keep in mind, this is all passive circuitry. There's no batteries, there's no active electronics. It's all very simple, straightforward, passive circuitry. In passive circuitry, you can only take away from. You can't add to. Active electronics, you can add. You can add boost. You can make things louder, things like that. Passive electronics, you cannot. You can only take away. You can only cut things out. Keep that in mind. That's very important. You have your two volumes. Each pickup has its own individual volume. Just as you would think, neck, bridge, they work like any other guitar. Then they start getting a little tricky with you. This is where they start to screw with your head. They give you a switch labeled rhythm and solo. Well, remember, you can't add to passive electronics. So what this does is this gives you the illusion of a boost circuit. So you're playing in rhythm, right? And then you flip it up to solo, and you get a little bit more volume out of it. So, wow, I just boosted my volume. But you can't add to a passive circuit, so you didn't boost your volume. All you did was this, when you're in solo, in your boosted state, you're at your regular, normal 100% volume, like any other guitar you'd pull off the shelf with the volume at 10. This is where it would sit. They kind of trick you and say, well, you should be playing in rhythm. That's here. So set your stuff to here so you're playing along. And then when you need that extra boost, you just flip the switch and you get a little extra. Right, because you've set everything up to be playing in rhythm, which is about 75% volume. And then you switch it back to normal, which is your normal circuit. So you're taking away from that volume to begin with. And then when you go to solo, it makes it seem like you're getting more, but you're not. You're just going back to the way it should be. So that's what that is. But you can think of it as a boost circuit because that's basically what it's pretending to do. Then you have your bass on and treble on. And this is where it really gets screwed up. Because if you keep in mind passive electronics, and I'm going to say it a million times, you can't add to passive electronics. You can only take away from. So this is your neck pickup. This is your creamy, bassy pickup. This is your bridge pickup. This is your trebly, higher sounding pickup. This is the pickup that cuts through more, right? That's on any guitar. Keep that in mind. So this switch here is labeled bass on. So when you flip this, you're like, oh, I just added bass to the circuit, right? And you can't, it's hard to hear in this little amp, with this amp in this room, but it does add bass to the circuit. But it doesn't, because you can't add to a passive circuit. So it gives you the appearance of adding bass to the circuit by taking away treble, right? Now, I will tell you that these two switches are just pickup switches. All they do is turn these two pickups off and on, depending on what you want. Again, this is your bassy pickup, this is your trebly pickup, right? So if this is telling you bass on, we're going to add bass. Well, you can't add bass, you can only take treble away. If this is your trebly pickup, and we know that these are just two pickup switches, and we can't add bass, we can only take treble out to make it sound bassier, that means we're taking this pickup out of the circuit when we flip this switch. Bass on means this bridge pickup comes out of the circuit, we turn it off because we want to take out the trebles to make this pickup sound bassier. And that's exactly what we do. So we turn this pickup off when we bass on, right? So we pull that back, and now we have both pickups on again. Treble on does the exact same thing. We can't add treble to the circuit like this says. We turn the treble on. You didn't turn the treble on. You can't do that. What we can do is turn the pickup off that has a lot of bass, which would be this pickup. So by turning treble on, we're turning the bass pickup off to make the treble that's in this pickup stand out more, so it doesn't get covered by this pickup. And that's all we did, was turn that pickup off. This one's still on. So all these two switches do are turn pickups off and on. The problem with this is when you look at it that way, so this position towards me, pickups are on. This position, you want to turn one off to add treble, you want to turn one off to add bass. But if you put them both down in that position, now you've turned both pickups off and you have no sound. And that's why everybody gets confused with it and thinks it's not working. It really is a pretty cool circuit, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. The only hiccup to it, in my opinion, is that you can turn both pickups off, which is fine. I don't mind that because it's the same thing as turning your volume down. And on this, you would have to turn both volumes down anyway if you wanted to go completely off. So it's easier to just flip both switches. But just know that with these switches down in the bass on and treble on position, you're not going to have sound coming out. And that's completely the way they are. It's the way they were built. It's the way this circuitry is. So that's completely normal. That's the biggest question with these is, why do I have no sound? And how do I fix it? These could have been labeled better. They could have done a different circuit where, you know, it would have been different than this. There probably are a million different ways to do this, but I kind of like this, and it's been this way from the beginning. So they didn't change anything. It's kind of what makes these cool in a way. But that's how it works, and I hope this cleared it up for you a little bit.